Welcome, wrestling family. We have now head coach Michael Poeta with us today. The wrestling community is should be excited, man. This is a very exciting time for you, your family. I know this probably isn't an opportunity that you had in your like near future sites or whatnot, but to be in this position, I know is super exciting for you. I'm sure there's some anxiety involved too with it being new. But listen, congratulations, my man. You're a teammate, you're a friend, you're a brother to me. And I couldn't be more proud of you and for you and happy for you. So let's dive into it and have some conversation, formal and informal, because you know there's other listeners there, so we can't say everything we would say as brothers. But listen, man, how are you doing? How are you feeling at this point? Have you signed the contract? I know the ink is still fresh, but is it like a 1 year thing, a multi-year thing? What is that looking like? Is it
It's 4 years.
okay?
So
Cool.
it was a four-year contract. I'm super excited, and kind of like the way you described it is like not you wouldn't expect this in the near future. Like I do feel
Right.
really young for this position. I feel like I'm the right guy for it, and I'm like over 100% all in on how good of a job I want to do and how high I want to bring the Illinois wrestling program up. But it still hasn't sunk in yet that I'm the head coach of this team. I love it, and I've loved every second of it. But just going from like when you and I were teammates, just thinking about what Coach Johnson was to us, it's pretty special that I get an opportunity to be that for these guys.
Right. And they had such a long tenure with it. I talked to Coach Heff, you know, did a congratulatory retirement bang out. You jumped on the podcast with it. It was a special thing, but that type of longevity is something super special. You've got 4 years on the contract to look forward to and hopefully many more, right? To keep you grounded and take the program from great to what you consider to be elite. So speak on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does elite look like? Because when me and you were teammates, we had a damn good team, man. We, you know, 2005 Big Ten team champions. The team was competing with the best in the country day in and day out. And we were doing extremely well. So how do you get back to that consistently? So speak on the elite side of things.
Absolutely. No, I don't think we realized like how good of a program we had while we were going through it, how lucky
Right.
we were. There
I
were
would agree.
times in the room where there were probably 7 All-Americans in their training together
Right.
that had placed at some point. So we had some special teams.
Right.
Uh, and it's getting it back to that. I mean, when you and I were teammates, there were times we were ranked first in the country, times second, third, won the Big Ten, second in the Big Tens. And that's where we need to get back to. And the state of Illinois is insanely good, and you can build a team around that. The state right now is it's not as strong as it's been in years. It'll come back, but we always talk about how strong our state is. We're a top three state. The University of Illinois should be top three because of that. And regardless of how our state is in the high school ranks, we're gonna get up to that point. But as far as picking up the biggest Illinois recruits right now, overall the state is not as dominant, not as much of a powerhouse. We actually got a huge commitment from a kid that was, in my opinion, is probably the best overall pound for pound kid in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's just kind of consistently getting up to that level, and we can do it. And I'm motivated to do it. I think outside the box. I think I have a lot of good ideas that can get us there, and I think it's kind of my energy and my passion will really resonate with recruits and getting the best kids and getting the most out of the kids here.
Well, I know for a fact, firsthand, your energy and your passion was there as a competitor. I know it's there as a coach too. So, you know that energy and that passion is no joke. You came to practice every day. You laced them up. You didn't play any games. If I drilled with you that day, you know it was intense, and you know we were all over it. We had fun, of course, right? But I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
were really somebody that I enjoyed training with, grinding with, going live with, because I learned something every single time. I mean, I used to just dominate you in practice. If you
I
no, I'm kidding. But a funny story. The one time I think you were having like an off day in practice. I just throw
was
this
about
in
to say
here.
the one time in five
Yeah, the
years you
one
took me
time. The
down
one
in
time I was
5 years
I
that
took
you
Mike
got
down.
like a real tough takedown. You were in for like 2 minutes grinding
Listen,
it
I
out, and
felt
you
great.
snuck one in.
I felt great physically that day. I knew it was gonna. I was gonna
I
bring it to you that day. I think I might have took you down, or I might even just come close, right? And then
think it was like a real escape.
I
Like I
think
didn't touch you. You got like a real actual
you did
escape.
one of
I think that's
these.
what you're thinking of.
Cut me.
Yeah. No, it was. I
But
was like trying to ride you, and you got away, and it was like a big deal.
and then you quit. You quit that day. You gotta tell the fans that though.
Man, I don't even remember that for real.
Ah,
But here,
whatever.
I just know that you and I drilled all the time together. Anytime
Yeah,
we had a chance, I probably
yeah,
the 3 years we were together, I probably drilled with you more than anybody.
right,
And you and I just had a really good feel for wrestling. There
right,
didn't need to be much communication. We had a really good feel for each other. We pushed each other, and I think the competitiveness between you and I, and
right,
I think
right.
that goes a long way with me bringing this team up to a Big Ten championship team, a NCAA championship team. I am so competitive. I want to beat everyone. It's
I
for me,
know.
it's kill or
I know
be
you
killed,
do.
kill or be killed.
Right.
And you're one of. I think there was probably because we're throughout our lives in wrestling as guys like different ages kind of come and go. There were definitely moments in my life. You were my best friend. There were times where we were doing everything together. We were
Right.
hanging out 24/7. But
Right.
when it came down to who was going to work harder and who was going to win the goals. I mean, I was competitive. I wanted to kick your ass every single time. There wasn't one thing
Hey,
I wanted you to
and
beat me
and
in.
and that's what a top program is, though, right? I mean, and that's that mutual respect, that brotherhood, and that they're pushing each other. So that's what I was used to coming from Harvey Twisters, Mount Carmel, segueing that into collegiate career. So that was like it was nothing. I was your best friend. I was your brother. When we leave there and go hang out and have drinks or whatever, lemonade and Gatorade, of course. But
Uh,
when we wrestled, it was
yeah.
pushing each other as hard as we could. But let's double back a little bit, Mike, and talk about Illinois. So it does make sense to focus on the state of Illinois. Obviously, you grew up here as a kid, right? Had a great, successful career in high school and have a tremendous name in college. Two-time NCAA finalist, three-time All-American, and a lot of wins on the collegiate level. And you are definitely a leader to that team during that time. So you're focusing your recruitment here in Illinois, which makes sense. But where do you see that growing in the future in terms of branching out and saying, hey, somebody from, I know we had a couple of college guys successful like Terrapellis in California, but if they're in different parts of the country looking at Illinois saying, hey, I want to go there too, even though it's out of state, I know that they have a great culture there. So all of that makes speak on that a little bit, because I know you want to centralize it in Illinois, but you gotta want like Gabe Dean just transferred right from Cornell to Penn State.
Max Dean, little brother.
Max Dean, a little brother.
Max
Thank you for correcting me on that. But something like that, right? To where somebody like that is looking at Illinois like, hey, I'm gonna go there because the culture's there. So speak to how you feel about just really growing it to that elite status.
Well, that would be a complete goal of mine. What you were saying with Max Dean, where guys he's an NCAA finalist and they're just knocking on your door. Hey, can I be part of your program?
Right.
And I think when Iowa was really good in the 80s and 90s, and obviously they're still good, but you hear stories about in the 80s and 90s, guys just showed up. Like Tom Ryan just like drove there.
Right.
Said, hey, can I be on your guys' team?
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be that'd be a goal of mine, because I know that we're going to be the best team in the country if guys are at that level are saying, hey man, we just want to be part of this. So there's something really special. And getting recruits across the country, you got to take the best kids. I don't care if we are the best team in the country and our lineup is California, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Jersey. And if it's 10 guys of that and we're the best team in the country, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm completely content. I want the best team.
Yeah.
But I think we can build it around Illinois. We're just fortunate enough to be like where you and I came from. We're 2 hours from Champaign. And it's just like proximity wise, it's a big advantage for us. So it's easier for us to pull the best kids in Illinois, because most of them come from a really like proximity wise close location. And my thing with Illinois kids is I can't just try and go after every Illinois kid. It's got to be the best kids. They can't miss kids. The names that we all know that we could throw out right now, like I can't believe these kids got out of state.
Right.
From this point, from this moment, right this second on, there can't be any more of that.
True.
You know, the guys are going to go other places, but the guys that are going to win it, the guys that are going to be 3-4-time All-Americans, they got to be in Champaign. Right. If they're from Illinois. That's a huge goal of mine. But it's not going to be, I'm not going to sacrifice getting kids from other states just because people want me to get the best kids in Illinois. And like I try not to like focus too much on what people say. And a lot of people do say that, you know, Illinois lost a lot of kids. And there was a class right before I got to Illinois that was really good. So I was still up at the club in Chicago, and there's a lot of good kids in this that are at other schools who are seniors. And I did not have an opportunity to recruit them. When I came to Illinois, they were already at different schools. They were already at North Carolina, Iowa, Nebraska, and places like that. Okay. So I kind of get lumped into the Howard that Poeta was there, and they were losing all these Illinois kids, which is it's a little frustrating. But like from this second on, we can't lose those kids. I won't lose them. I'll annoy them so much to the point where they're like, Jesus Christ, I'll come back.
You'll be sleeping outside on their porch, letting them know how much you care. Listen, I already know you'll be super dedicated to it, and you'll be serious about it. So in terms of culture for the program and getting recruits buy-in, parents buy into it, and what you hope to change there, speak to it a little bit from the competitive side of it and the coaching side of it for you, because every day, from what I remember, you really had a killer instinct and a great emotional maturity about you that you took out to the mat that enabled you to be consistent, like super consistent. That's one of the things I really admired about you in terms of competition, is you were super consistent with the athlete you brought out onto the mat every single day. And that's what you want to do with the program, right? And that's what Illinois needs, for sure. I know that for sure. And I know you do too. So speak to that a little bit. That of what you can share to it, because you lived it and you did it, you accomplished it, and how you can transfer that into coaching and getting adoption and buy-in from your wrestlers and the parents.
I think it's like a lot of it, as far as getting the best out of guys, I think you just have to get guys to give their all when they don't feel like it. Right. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like we walked in the room, and I remember I don't know why this sticks out so much to me, but you said this to me one time. You were like, damn, we come in, we run, we warm up, we drill, we wrestle live. It's so redundant. It's so redundant.
Wait, did I use the word redundant? I know I used the word redundant.
A lot of people our age just weren't using redundant at that time. So it like really stuck out to me.
Oh, but my goodness.
It has to, honestly, to be the best team, there has to be consistency like that. And you have to get the guys just to give their all for the boring stuff. Yeah. That's how you get to the best, when you're lifting, running, wrestling, and you don't always feel like it, but you just stay consistent with it. And every day you're getting a little bit better at all of that, a little bit better shape. So I think that's just kind of the biggest thing. You gotta motivate the guys. You gotta motivate them to give their all every single day. And right. This is just a quote that I can throw in that I heard this, I think it was in the Muhammad Ali documentary a year or two ago. It was awesome. And he's going out to fight, and some guy comes up and he goes, "Hey, Muhammad, how do you feel?" And he goes, "With my hands," and then walked away. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that so much. Right. I love it, because it doesn't matter how you feel on the inside. You just got to go through it. And you just got to do it. Yeah. And you got to find it from somewhere. So I think that's my job, just to keep that high consistency of training, no matter how you feel.
Well, that's great, man. That makes a ton of sense. And I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see those results under your leadership. Speak to me a little bit about coaching staff. I don't know if you can let any cats out of the bag, or if anybody's already officially there or not. So this would be good for just me to find out, as well as probably listeners. But whatever you can share in terms of the coaching staff, who you think is going to get you there, get the culture to where it needs to be, get the recruitment to where it needs to be. I know you retained Medlin and on the RTC side, Regional Training Center, so you can speak to that. You also retained Jeremy Hunter, which I personally probably trained with Jeremy Hunter 85 to 90% of the time. And I mean, it was just brutal. You know, he's right in your face, and you learn by experiencing him competing on you. He won't say much, but you know, if you ask him something, he has the answers to it in terms of wrestling and wrestling savvy and technical skills. But he's in shape and he doesn't mess around. So great guy to retain. But speak to the coaching staff a little bit, Mike.
I think Jeremy Hunter's wrestling IQ is in like the Einstein status.
Right.
I think it's in the 160s, 170s. I don't know a lot of people that like. I have a little bit of an ego with technique. I feel like I studied it to the point where like I know everything. Nobody knows more than me. But Hunter's someone that I can check my ego and really be open-minded and say, all right, yeah, that's the way he does it is better, or the way he's doing it right now is right. And I think strategy-wise with matches, the way he runs practices, he was so valuable that I told him if he didn't want to stay, that I was going to beg him to stay. I was going to get on my knees and say, please stay. You're too valuable.
Right.
And then Brian Medlin, I don't know if I've been around a coach that's more dedicated than him. And it's man hours. He's like the 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. guy. It doesn't matter. I think Isaiah Martinez beat Jordan Burroughs in that one match because of Brian Medlin. I mean, he's attached at the hip to all the RTC guys. He gives everything he has to them. So he's so valuable. And same thing, I would have been begging him to stay. And now filling some of the other spots, I had guys in mind, and during the interview process, I kind of pre-selected some guys. I had talked to them, but there's just like some circumstances that are causing it to go a little bit longer. It's just the situation that it was timing wise. It's going to start getting kind of settled right now, but it was actually kind of tougher to think about people because nobody graduated. So everybody came back. So it was a really weird year as guys would graduate, get into potentially coaching or moving some spots. Just there wasn't as much availability, let's say. Right. But I had two guys in mind from the get-go, and it's still being worked out.
Got you. So how long do you think it'll take before those pieces of the puzzle come together? I know the season's quickly upon us. You think it'll take a long time to iron that stuff out, or you see it coming to the
No,
end quick?
I'm hoping within the next like 3 weeks.
All right, so we're gonna have to do this podcast and make an announcement again. No, I'm just kidding.
I swear to God, if you make me come on with you again, please do not. Don't make me do this again. I'm waiting for you to say, all right, thanks, Mike, for your time. Let's wrap it up.
Hey, we got more time. We got more time on this clock, my man. Listen.
But the guy that I want to bring in someone that's young, brings a lot of youth.
Yeah.
Can wrestle with the guys all the time, has like a high wrestling IQ like Hunter. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm actually just I want a lot of youth on the staff. I think it draws recruits. I think it's more relatable for the guys.
Yeah. Last question. What weight does it matter? Because you mentioned wrestling with the guys.
It's a middleweight and a big guy.
Gotcha.
So trying to cover so everybody on the team has a chance to wrestle with someone that's post collegiate, like a mentor, a role model. Right. More experiences, can pass down some knowledge. We got Zane Richards down low. Zane I wish that. And every coach says this about their guy. Like, man, I wish he performed as high of a level as he does in practice, because Zane is like lights out at times. So I wish we could get more out of that consistently for him. But when it comes to wrestling with guys, showing them stuff, mentoring them, Zane's phenomenal. And he kind of covers that. He covers 25 to 41, 25 to 49.
Right. And Zane Richards, he's
hey,
an
remember,
RT.
speaking of weight classes, so we're doing the summer camps.
Yep.
This is when me and Cass were on the team. We're doing summer camps, and him and I just hop on a scale after, just randomly. There's a scale right there. I think we were weighing the kids in for whatever tournament we were going to do. I'm 157. Cassio's 141. So he wrestles 16 pounds less than me. We get on the scale. I weigh 170. He steps on after. He weighs 174. He weighs 4 pounds more than me. He looks at me, and I'm laughing now. So he's 30-something pounds overweight over the summer. He looks at me and he grabs me. He's like, "Don't you say anything. Don't say anything."
Listen, I love the summertime. I was able to just eat, lift hard, train, wrestle. I swear to you, like my junior, senior year, I was getting pretty big. And I kind of kick myself to this day for not at least attempting to go 49 and have a strong conversation with, I think, Troy Terapelli at the time. Because Troy Terapelli, he was a monster. You know, he was a monster in practice, but he was an ultimate competitor too. He always did well under the lights. And he did well at 149, but I know that he was a natural 41. I think he could have made that weight a lot easier than me. So Troy, if you hear this, man, I apologize. Listen, yeah, he was smaller than me, man. And I kicked myself because I don't know why.
Well, there were a lot of people smaller than you. There were a lot.
Listen, I see where you're going with this. I'm not gonna feed into it, but yeah,
Durgo was probably smaller. Patrick Bond was probably smaller than you over the summer.
I don't think you were
so.
Like those guys were 197 heavyweight.
Yeah, you and Wise were.
No, but yeah, man, I do remember getting pretty big in those summer times and had to shred that weight. But anyway, so listen, man, a couple more questions. You did a great job. I want to shout out Team Poeta, which is the Poeta Training Center. You built that up from nothing to, you know, something major and something special for the youth before you went back and went to the college scene. So just speak a little bit about that and how you plan. And first of all, who's there? Who's helping facilitate practices there right now?
So I actually have nothing to do with the team there, the rest of the team that trains there.
Okay.
So I own the building the entire time. So I own the building and was running the team. I had to, compliance wise, I couldn't be involved in the actual wrestling team there anymore.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I'm allowed to be a landlord of anything, so I own the building. But getting it started, when I was in high school, I didn't go to overtime, but I'd been to overtime. And when I walked in, I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is my wrestling is going to be my resume. The better I do, the bigger name I make, I'll have something like this. Mm-hmm. So that was always in the back of my mind. And that actually, I think, started messing me up later on when I was trying to make an Olympic team, because it was, to me, the grass was greener on the other side. I was putting so much pressure on myself. The training was so tough. And I had the club, I had helping kids, I had dollar signs. Those were popping in my head more so than focusing on the wrestling. And here, when Jordan Burroughs at your weight, it's really easy to start going, all right, the grass is green. I mean, what am I supposed to do here?
JB. Okay.
Yeah. So I listened to your guys' podcast. That was really good.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you had a chance to check it out, man.
So grass was always greener on the other side. I moved back home. I had in my area, there still had a big name at the time. And I just put on Illinois Madman. Like, I'm starting a club. It was going to be at Carmel High School, not your Carmel. Your Mount Carmel and Carmel a little different wrestling wise.
Right. I know.
The Prestige, but it was the other Carmel. And I put on Illinois Madman. Hey, I'm doing I'm starting a team, I guess. These are going to be the practice times. I got hooked up with, like, Durgo was coming by, Griff Powell was coming by. So these kids had like a monster staff. Mark Jane was coming by. Right. And I had no idea how many kids were going to show up. And I got there and kids just started pouring in, and there were like 70 kids day one. And I mean, it's one of those things where, like, all right, I'm the head coach of U of I right now. Like, how is this possible? How am I this lucky? I can't, when those kids all started coming in, I mean, it was emotional almost. Right. And we were too big for Carmel, like, right away. So I had help from some really great people, some supportive people. They helped me buy a building. And same thing. I was all in. I was competitive. I wanted to be the best club in the country. That was my goal. I wanted the most state champs. I wanted the most everything. Mm-hmm. And it was steamrolling. It was doing well. And then the assistant job opened up here, and Hef called me to see if I was interested. And I was just ready. I was so ready to get back into college wrestling. I was really fired up.
Cool. Good. So listen, I'm sure you had some conversations with Coach Hef, and, you know, what can you share? I know some of the conversation was probably, you know, intimate and personal. He was super close to a lot of us when we were competitors and stuff like that. So you don't have to share everything, but share maybe with the listeners, with myself, maybe some parting words of advice that he gave you, or something that he passed down to you as he handed off the torch to you, man, as he passed the mantle.
He led by example the whole time I was here.
Yeah.
And I think his willingness right now just to continue helping me, and he's during this past month, he's offered so much help and so much advice. Just at times, every time I needed to reach out to him, he was so engaged in helping me so fast. But there, I off the top of my head, I can't think of anything like specific where he gave me a hug and said something to me, and it was like life changing for coaching or the wrestling program. But I think just overall his being there.
Right. Just his presence, his support, his willingness to just offer any advice and just be available. Yeah. Right. Yeah. He was always that type of guy. So that's awesome. Have you had a chance
and the thing is though, that's how Hef is. Hef doesn't want to like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. Cause he's like, this is his team now.
Right.
This is his team. So everything he asks, I will give him my opinion immediately and try to help him as much as possible. And I think he's actually a really good guy because of that. Just egoless.
Right. For sure. What about Coach Jay? Had a chance to connect with him?
He actually said something really funny. So his text was, "You're gonna do great. Don't break any of my records."
That sounds like him. That sounds like him. And that was it. That's all that needed to be said.
That was
it. Do good, but don't do better than me.
I mean, we know how that is. Like guys I coach, if they go off and coach somewhere else, or like us as teammates, if they're coaching somewhere else, I want them to take second, third, fourth, and fifth place. Absolutely, not ahead of me.
Right.
So I'm trying to whoop their ass. But I'm rooting for every one of them to take second. Absolutely, I want them to beat everyone else.
Right. That's too funny. That's awesome, man. So listen, best of luck to you. Best wishes, man. You have a beautiful wife, beautiful children, beautiful family.
Take it easy.
You better juggle this thing, man. Juggle being a head coach, juggle being a family man, a father. I know you can do it. What are your plans on doing that? You thought about it? It's going to be a tall order, my man.
No, absolutely. And my competitiveness makes me want to be 24/7 making U of I the best team ever. Like it's tough to balance it all, but you have to balance it. You won't be successful if you put all your eggs in one basket. Between really, I don't have much of a social life. Like I don't care to go out or hang out at night with anybody. I stay connected with all my friends through relationships, just through phone calls and texts all day long. Right. But the eggs need to be in the wrestling and the family basket pretty evenly. And then that's how they'll work the best.
Right.
I'll be the best with my family. I'll be the best at coaching as long as there's a balance.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, man. And
congrats on your new baby.
Thank you.
Very
I got a 3-week-old. My wife blessed me with this little short opportunity to chop it up with you, but I got a 1.5-year-old daughter and a 3-week-old. So we don't have time. We don't have any time. You know, the time to the kid
it's 4:06. It's been 36 minutes.
I know this is done. We're done. I swear to you,
this is going to be like 2-3 minutes.
We're wrapping this up. In my mind, I had 5 to 10 minutes planned for you. I didn't have much to say, but listen, this has been great, man. This has been great for me. I hope listeners enjoyed it. Guys, follow Wrestling Fan Podcast. A lot more content coming soon. Connecting with a lot more great wrestling minds. Mike Poeta is a friend, a brother, former teammate, and now head coach. Congratulations. Best of luck to you. Best wishes. Mike, if folks want to follow you, do you want to shout out anything other than the Illini website, or maybe your Instagram or something where you might be reaching out to folks and connecting with folks in any kind of way before we jump off here?
To be honest, I don't even know what it is. I think it's Illini Coach MP on them. I honestly think so. But for me, like here, when I do podcasts like Castor, there's no way I'm going to share this myself. There's no way.
Right.
Because, and this is why, and it's everyone. I almost get embarrassed promoting myself. Like I don't want to do that. For me, it's all about the program. It's all about the guys.
Right.
So I will flood everything with them, with my family, with things that I try to be funny at times in it. But yeah, those are I think it's Illini Coach MP. And for me, it's all about the guys. So that's mostly everything I put out is that.
Right, for sure. A banking number, routing number, might want to share any of that, or Hey, listen, man, I
Hey,
love you. I love you.
wait, I had this. So wait, on I think when we
Come
were in
on, man.
college, and
Wrap
we
it up.
got
We're over
real good.
time. Wrap this story up, brother.
No,
You
just
told
really
me.
quick. No, I mean, you went with banking and routing number. So when we got our iCards, I think they hooked us up with some like TCF bank, something that was like very like
Right.
not like a high end bank, but like with
Smaller regional bank. Yep.
smaller regional to like
Yep.
we started an account, and I got an email like recently, your TCF bank account, like something is your new statement is available, and it's been 15 years. I'm like, oh my, what if I call and they say there's 10 grand and there's 20 grand? I got so fired up, and I called them, and I had $4.07 in it.
I wonder what you spent your money on back then, Mike. Listen, we'll talk off air about that. Hey, listen, man, love you, brother. We'll be in touch, man. We always are. Thank you for blessing the podcast with you coming on, and I'm sure listeners will be grateful for it and inspired and motivated. That's what this is all about, just connecting the wrestling community. And I appreciate your time, brother.
For sure, Cassio. This podcast has been great. I've listened to most of them. Keep up the good work.
I appreciate you, man.
I love you. You said I love you to me. I like you. I like you. Yeah.
But you've said you've loved me before. Don't listen. Don't do me like that.
All
right. All right, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right.
Okay, Mike. Bye-bye. Okay, bye.